Welcome to the back room where we talk about politics. Politics here in New York, politics around the country, politics around the world. I'm Lisa Schiffren, your host. I'm a Republican speechwriter.
David Eisenbach, presidential historian.
So the biggest issue today in the country, no matter where you are, is President Trump's tariffs and what will happen with them. The stock market has greeted them with a certain amount of volatility. Lots of Wall Streeters, including some Trump supporters, are certain that these tariffs will lead to recession and a market crash. Others see a long-awaited solution to the problems caused by NAFTA and other free market policies, which saw American industry crash and burn. 90,000 factories have closed in the United States since NAFTA went into effect in the 90s. Each one of those represents hundreds or thousands of jobs that ended, the devastation of solid working-class communities, and lasting scars, including many young lives cut short by the scourge of fentanyl. If tariffs brought back some of those factories, that would be a win. Meanwhile, leaders of 70 countries have put in calls to the White House to negotiate new deals. These negotiations are already starting with allies like Japan and Korea, South Korea. The question has come up about what Trump is hoping to do with these tariffs. Is he using them to generate revenue for the U.S., which he has talked about, or is he using them to get other countries to knock down their tariffs and create a level playing field, bringing fair trade to the free market? Asked about which was his priority, Trump said that both are important and maybe you don't have to choose. But you do have to choose.
You do have to choose.
So we'll see. So David, do you see a catastrophe or a boon to the working class as we rebuild industry?
Well, that's the question, you know. Is it too late, right? I mean, let's remember back in the 90s when Bill Clinton was pushing NAFTA, it was the left of the Democratic Party, which was the bulk of the opposition. It was unions and those of us who saw that getting rid of industrial jobs was going to gut the middle class, working class in America, and that was not going to be good for the long-term economic health or for the greater society. Turns out we were right, and now Trump is, he's testing the water, see if we can actually start to get some of these jobs back.
It's hard to imagine getting jobs back in time for it to work for Trump politically.
Well, that's absolutely right. I mean, certainly not by the midterm elections.
Right. I mean, that's what I meant. You don't build a factory in 18 months.
No, and I've always felt like, look, if Trump is really going to do this, he's got to be, willing to take the political hit. If he won't run again, I'm assuming.
No, I think that's a joke. I think he's not running again.
Okay, all right, good. And so, look, only a one-term president could win a trade war with China and Europe and Japan simultaneously. So, I think it's good that we're trying. Now, the stock market is going to take a big hit. There's no question about it. But if it's a negotiating position that gets us into a better trade position, if in the long term this brings back working class jobs and opens up opportunities for Americans who don't have a college degree, this is a good thing for America.
No, I agree. I think it's important that Americans without college degrees have access to the middle class, which they haven't had for the last 20 years.
That's right. I mean, America's great economic boom from 1945 through 1965, let's say, was built on the American working class. I mean, that's what built the American middle class and the ripple effect throughout the economy that benefited everyone. That bedrock was severed, and what we've now got is an economy based on services and the finance side of the economy And so we've seen this big divide in terms of wages and wealth. For the long-term health of the economy, this is not good.
You know, I worked in Detroit in the 1980s, and this was before NAFTA, of course, and we were very conscious of what a sweet deal all the American auto workers had and how messy the product was. American cars were not as well made at that time as they are now, A, and B, as they would become because of competition from Japanese and Korean auto workers, some of whom built factories here, some of whom we import their goods. But that was a real issue. I mean, there is something to competition.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. But when there's a certain level of competition that we're talking about, when the United States has to compete with Chinese firms that do not treat their workers well, do not pay their workers well, don't abide by environmental regulations, it's hard to compete, right? And
well, wait a minute. I mean, you say that.
Yeah.
That's a real question. How are Americans going to compete with countries like Vietnam, where people are paid $2 an hour?
Yeah.
Where 9-year-olds work in factories.
And again, the environmental regulations are real.
Right,
and,
they are real.
This is a huge disparity, and this is the question about whether this can actually work. I think that it's worth a shot, right? I mean, I'm not optimistic on what the effect is going to be. It certainly isn't going to be an overnight thing. If we're really going to bring back American jobs, we're going to have to go through a lot of pain in order to do it. But in the long-term health and the long-term interests of America.
When you say that, what kind of pain are you talking about?
I'm talking about a stock market that's going to keep on crashing. I mean, there could be no floor to this thing. And the fact is, inflation is going to go up. You know, you can't slap a 25% tariff on Chinese products and not have, you know, everything in Walmart go up 25%. I mean, they make the stuff that we use every day, from tennis rackets to batteries, and so this is actually going to have a huge impact on the bottom line and the everyday budgets of Americans.
I guess that's true. It is clearly the case. I mean, Trump is not stupid. He's obviously reasoned that far and knows that higher prices are coming.
Higher prices are coming. And that will generate some revenue for the U.S. federal government. Is it going to put a dent in the deficit? Well, we'd actually have to go into actually cutting expenditures and the combination of raising tariffs. But at least it's addressing some of the problems that we've been kind of sweeping under the rug and ignoring for decades.
You know, along similar lines, he had a press conference today where he advocated for the coal workers. He had a bunch of coal miners standing behind him, talking about bringing back coal mines and licenses to mine coal, and cleaner methods for doing it and cleaner methods for burning it. It's not, I mean, it's clear this is going to happen. This is not a hard thing to do. And we do burn coal and we export coal. The Chinese buy our coal. Yeah. But it's the same thing. It's this neglected sector of the American population that need their economic options back.
Yeah, and again, you know, having factory jobs and coal mining jobs, these were jobs that floated entire communities, that entire states in the case of West Virginia. And then when we gutted all those jobs, it left people in a place of despair. And so we saw suicide rates go up, of course, addiction to opioids. All of these things have really gutted the American industrial working class. And if we can get them working again, that's going to be good in so many different aspects of our society.
I was very entertained today to read that Elon Musk referred to Peter Navarro, who is the tariffs guru,
Yeah.
as a moron. He literally called him a moron on X. It's good to see that that the president is getting kind of the benefits of this rivalry as in terms of policy advice.
Yeah. Well, again, we're still in the honeymoon phase of this, or let's see where we are in the next month, right? Because this trade war isn't going to be won or lost in a month. It's months. And if
well, I think
I have my doubts on whether Donald Trump's going to be able to stay the course, because
stay the course in terms of holding on to the tariffs.
The pain, dealing with the pain.
Yeah, I think it's entirely possible that he will use this opportunity to negotiate down tariffs from other countries.
Well, I'll tell you, if I were
which would be good enough.
If I were advising the other countries, I would be like, just make an adjustment, give him the win, allow him to declare victory, and get back to business. That would be my advice to all.
That's
these
really
countries.
what Israel did the other day when Netanyahu was here. They renounced all tariffs and all regulations on incoming American goods.
Right.
Vietnam has offered the same thing.
Right. Yeah. And then of course, like down the line, you might be able to change things, but you're going to have to give Donald Trump some win. But in terms of hardball, the Chinese look like they're playing hardball.
They do look like they're playing hardball.
Right? Am I right?
Yeah. No.
That's going to be a tougher nut to crack.
But they have an incentive to keep trade going.
Well, yeah. Look, every country has an incentive to keep trade going, but they are tougher than we are. and they can take a great deal more pain than your typical American can.
I guess that's right. We'll see what happens next week with the Senate budget bill, which will have some effects on the economy as well, whether Trump is allowed to keep his taxes.
Here's my question to you. Some Republicans are kind of getting a little weak.
Squishy.
Right?
Squishy.
What have you observed?
Well, I've observed the 5 or 6 of them that don't want to give Trump the win on this, that seem to believe that there ought to be more budget cuts. Mm-hmm. Trump is not so strong on budget cuts, although he's got DOJ working with him to cut budgets in different ways.
Well, there are budget cuts and then there are budget cuts.
Right. I think he's not so strong on the ones that
are going to hurt.
Right, that are going to come out of this bill.
Yeah. So you're not going to get Democrat support. So you can't lose any Republicans.
No, you can't. I mean, you need 51 in the Senate.
What are the numbers looking like?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
But there are a handful. There are a good 4 or 5 who are not with him.
Yeah.
And some of them are people like Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski and Mitch McConnell, who have literally voted.
Mitch McConnell's still around.
Yes. Sadly, it's time for him to retire. But who have literally voted against the Trump bills from day one.
Right.
So they're making a point.
Right. Well, they got a lot of leverage because he's not going to get any Democrats to vote for him.
And now we're going to go to a public service announcement. So stay tuned and stick with us. We'll be right back. Thank you. Welcome back to the back room where we talk about politics around the country, across the state, and right here in the Bronx. But right now we're going to stick with Washington and the Supreme Court, which yesterday gave Donald Trump's administration a win in three big cases, two of which we're going to talk about. The local judges who've been trying to stop Trump from, the local district judges who've been trying to stop Trump from deporting criminal aliens, they were told to stop it, to cease and desist, that he has the right to deport Tren de Aragua. They were also told, the administration was also told that the Tren de Aragua members have the right to due process, which kind of interferes with what the Trump people were doing. But the judge does not have the right to stop or demand that flights be returned. So that's an interesting win.
What are your thoughts on that win there?
Well, my thought is that it is absolutely out of line for local district judges to interfere in national policy and especially foreign policy as if they have somehow, the right to legislate. I think that if there is some issue like due process, that would be grounds maybe for interfering in a policy, but not because they don't like the fact that some guy, that the Trump people say some guy is a Tren de Aragua or what's the other one? The other gang, you don't know. But if, in fact, these people are members of gangs and they are here illegally, the idea of deporting them makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah, well, this was the question from the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the Supreme Court,
They said that the Trump people can use I think it's called the Alien Enemies Act.
Okay, right. Well, that's sort of the Supreme Court's ruling on that. The act is there, so what it
Well, it's very old.
It doesn't matter. So is the Constitution.
Right.
So he got the win on that. And honestly, gangs, I really don't have much sympathy for these criminal gangs because they prey on mostly immigrant communities.
Although they've killed and raped plenty of Americans.
And that's what I'm saying. This is not good for any Americans to have these criminal gangs in the country.
Right, and getting rid of them quickly and expeditiously strikes me as smarter than giving everybody their day in court.
Well, it's hard to do every day in court.
Right, it is hard to do. It will take forever.
It's very hard to do.
It will take forever.
Take forever.
You've got 20 million people who came in over the last 4 years, and if you want to get rid of a couple of million of them, you cannot. Not everybody can have a day in court.
And if they're not citizens, then that's where the Constitution protects your citizen rights, not necessarily the rights of these.
So the Supreme Court also said that the Trump administration is allowed to fire federal workforce employees, which a local judge had interfered with and had stated that thousands of them needed to be rehired. So that no longer has to happen. What do you think of that?
Well, I always thought that the president had the authority to do this. I thought it was more procedural on whether Elon Musk had the authority, right, to do it. And I always figured it would roll its way into the courts and then it would be settled there. And it looks like they did just that.
Yeah, that does seem settled. Right. Although the hatred for Elon Musk is extraordinary.
Well, I think he's useful for Trump because he's a lightning rod.
Exactly right.
Even Republicans can attack him, and Elon Musk doesn't seem to care. Now I know that he's got a kind of a limitation on how many days he can.
I
serve.
Believe it's 130.
130. I don't know what. So he's got a month left.
Another month, right, another month.
It's funny, we were talking about Trump's 100 days. it feels like it's a whole year that's happened since he took over, right? Doesn't it feel
Well,
long?
because he's going at such a fast pace, and Joe Biden was going at such a slow clip.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. It just seems like so much is happening in this 100 days.
Yeah. And I'm sure Elon's 130 days will feel that way to him once he's packed up and ready to leave. Although I don't believe he's really going to leave. I believe he'll serve as a helper on various policies for the next few years.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's interesting to see the backlash on Tesla, on the company Tesla.
It's appalling. It makes no sense.
Yeah.
It's just such bad behavior.
Well, yeah, I mean, the acts of vandalism
The
against...
vandalism, just going after the company.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, this was the liberal dream car. This was the status
well,
car.
that's been the funny thing. You know,
Yeah, that everybody they attack is a liberal.
snooty liberal car, right? $60,000, $80,000 car, and it was the prestige vehicle. You know, it's what a BMW and a Mercedes used to be, and now it's just like nobody wants them. It's kind of strange. It's kind of strange.
Although I see them in my neighborhood untouched by vandals.
Yeah, well, you have a fancy neighborhood.
No, I live in a very middle-class neighborhood. Most people drive Hondas. But
I drive a Honda.
I drive a Honda too.
I love my Honda.
Yes, but now we're going to have to buy American cars.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Although I'm sure my Honda was made here. So, in France,
Yeah.
which is also not the Bronx, Marine Le Pen, the head of the right-wing party, was found guilty of
Embezzlement.
some silly charge having to do with allocating campaign funds.
Yeah.
That seems made up and ridiculous. And now she's not allowed to run for president?
Yeah, and they call it embezzlement. It's really the problem is it's $3 million over the course from 2004 to 2016. So when you kind of break it down per
Not so
year,
many ads.
it's money that was supposed to be allocated to staff in France that are supposed to be working on what she was doing as a member of the EU Parliament. Now, she's not the only politician in the EU Parliament who use staff back home to do maybe not necessarily European Parliament business, but local politics. It's a very hazy area. 157 of her colleagues have been cited over the years for this very problem. This is selective prosecution. And I'm sorry, when you selectively choose to prosecute this politician versus this politician for the same crime, that is not justice. And that is circumventing democracy. Whether you like her or not, you got to see that this is inherently unfair.
Now, the French establishment clearly doesn't like her,
Oh, my
but
God.
she's very popular with the actual voters.
Look, she's leading in the polls for the next election, which is in 2027. As part of this ruling, she's been banned for running. She now has an appeal, which I'm not familiar with their court system, but I wouldn't be very optimistic on her appeal because the
doesn't sound like
establishment is so against
democracy.
her.
This doesn't sound like the rule of law. This sounds, as you said, selective prosecution, and it's very political. She's an embarrassment to the the left liberal establishment.
Yeah, and the globalists and the warmongers
And the Islamists.
This is the problem. It's that when the establishment has just run out of ideas, and even people on the left who don't want more war and do want more jobs and do want safety on the streets, when they have no answers for them, the answer now is to eliminate the critics, eliminate anyone who threatens their power. And this is not democracy. And this is exactly what J.D. Vance was warning Europe about when he spoke at the Munich Security Conference.
Yes, he was prescient.
Yeah. Well, he had seen how this had been done in other countries. And
Well, the Germans have done it.
well, exactly. And
The British appear to be ramping up selective prosecution.
it's very scary what's going on, right? This isn't just like an Eastern European thing. These are old Western democracies.
And it boils down to one major issue, and that is immigration.
Well,
Most
that's
of
one of the big issues, but they're also economic and geostrategic. And
there are, but lots and lots of voters in France are tired of having their country run by Sharia law.
well, certainly if you look at the polls and the votes in this past year's election in Europe, the alt-right and the those who wanted to stop immigration did extremely well. What was amazing to see was how the political systems can reduce the effect of those votes, right, when it actually comes to allotting seats in the parliament. So, for example, you saw that in Germany, where you have the Christian Democrats now making common cause and forming an alliance with the socialists. But that in itself is also sparked a splinter among the traditional conservatives in Germany. So, there's a political chaos going on in Europe right now, and it feels as though the establishment is just hanging on with their nails and are willing to do anything to stop the will of the people. Like it or not, democracy is democracy, and going after politicians you don't like and putting them in jail is not the way to go.
Just to bring it home for our last segment,
Yeah.
Which is a mere 1 minute.
Yes.
Our friend Mayor Eric Adams
Eric Adams, right?
withdrew from the Democratic primary this week and is running as an independent.
And running as an independent, looks like Andrew Cuomo. I mean, you don't even hear news about the Democratic primary. Andrew Cuomo, Eric Adams, independent. Curtis Sliwa is the Republican nominee.
Curtis Sliwa is the Republican nominee. He's not doing very well either.
But the three of them, I would love to see that debate. I can't wait for it. I hope it happens.
Yeah, I hope it happens too. I think Eric Adams is a lost cause.
Yeah. Well, I think this is Andrew Cuomo's race to lose.
Yeah. Thank you so much for tuning in. And we'll be back in 2 weeks with more politics from the back room. Good night.